Today, I'm giving gratitude and giving you a general life update. It's been a while since I've been one, so I'm excited to do it. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a clinic management software that I absolutely love that is here to make practice life a little easier. For many of us practitioners, yes, if you did not know, I also owned a clinic and I totally understand. As a clinic owner, documentation can feel a bit clunky and disrupt the flow of an appointment. And that's where Jane's templates can help. With dozens of customization options, you can tailor your templates to your workflow so you can focus your energy on what matters, which is helping your patients' clients. Access the template library built by practitioners across different disciplines. This is so amazing. You guys, if you have not checked this out, please do. Then you can edit those templates to fit your unique needs without starting from scratch, and it saves you so much time. You can also create your own templates for every step of patient care, including intake form questionnaires, clinical surveys, treatment plans. This way, you have everything you need to start appointments prepared. To learn more about how Jane can help your documentation work for you, head to meet.jane.app/documentation to book a demo. Oh, and also, if you want to get started with Jane, you can use my code LEX1MO. Again, that's LEX1MO for a 1-month grace period on your new account. To make it easy for you, I have a link that goes directly to Jane in the show notes. Feel free to click that and you will be taken to the place where you can learn more and book a demo. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. I am excited. Today's episode is going to be a lot less tactical, a lot less informational, if you will, and more or less just we'll call it a life update, a business update, a gratitude episode as well. Just wanted to, go through some things, and I as I'm recording this, I just kept feeling like my gut didn't want to be tactical this week. And I know if you listen to this podcast, you know that most of my stuff, let's be honest, pretty much all of it is super tactical. And I know that there's a place here for just being like, let's just call it low key, not dedicated to work, fun listening. Because here's the thing, I'll be lifting in the gym sometimes and just say to myself, I don't want to learn anything right now. Like, I just want to laugh. I just want to hear somebody chit chat. I don't want to be talking about business. There was a decent chunk of time where I would spend my long drives that I was making doing a lot of like business listening. And that's where I developed my little method where I'd bring a Post-it pack and I'd write notes on a Post-it and stick it to my dashboard as I'm driving, like little ideas I had, because while I'm listening to podcasts and I'm driving, I used to have the best ideas there. And my mind was always just going. And there are times where I'm like, I just want to listen. So this episode is going to be a just listening episode. My goal is not to have you write things down and do things and whatever else you want to obviously take in. So more light and fun. I always joke with myself because, I say this to other people and like it kind of comes off as a joke. So sometimes they'll laugh, but like I wish I was funny. I didn't really get that gene. And that's why I like to spend time with funny people, because I'm not funny, or I do not self-select as a funny person. And so when I'm not a funny person, I always laugh at myself when I'm like, this is going to be a fun and lighthearted episode, knowing that I'm not a comedian. So the amount of times that you laugh, I won't give you the lowdown there. That's going to be totally person to person dependent. And if you think I'm funny, cool. If not, well, I also will tell you that I never claimed to be. So let's just do an update. First and foremost, I want to, in my newsletter today, my Monday Minute, if you're not a part of my newsletter family, you can sign up in the show notes. I love my Monday Minute. It has become a weekly practice of mine since November of 2024. I'm thinking, was it October or November? Either way, right around that time, I started to do a weekly newsletter because I wanted to just practice writing a little bit more and have more, let's just use the word opportunity to teach, because doing a monthly recap wasn't really working for that. And I wanted to have more opportunities to be able to teach and share and provide free stuff. And a weekly newsletter was it. Shantae had been writing a weekly newsletter since January of that year. And watching her do it, I know that it was just super valuable in the long run. And yeah, I love it. I'm like, this is a total sidebar again, like, welcome to this episode. But sidebar is, anything you think you're not good at, you need to practice. And I will say, recording a podcast episode, writing a newsletter, those things I was not good at, in my opinion. I don't think I was great at them early on. By practicing and doing the thing and actually writing, it's been much easier. So anything you're feeling like, oh, I could never do that, just know that a lot of times you're self-limiting. You are just putting that on yourself, and you could definitely do it if you just took the time to be bad. And I'm not sure, and that doesn't mean, it doesn't come off as like, God, you're awful. It's just, you have to have time and give yourself some grace when you're starting something new or increasing your I'll say doing more reps and increasing the intensity around something, because you're probably not going to be that great at it. It's just that is what it is. So you're probably not going to be that great at it at the beginning, and then likely over time you will improve with mostly any of the skills. So with that being said, this episode, I'm just going to focus on giving you again, the gratitude that I talked about in my newsletter today. And you'll hear me typing because I'm trying to switch this screen over and it's driving me nuts. Okay, so I'm going to give you the same rundown that I gave in my newsletter today, which was just thank you. I know that in my bones, time goes so fast, and I make a very concerted effort to always thank people for all of the things. Thank you for waiting for your discovery call. Thank you for booking one. Thank you for booking a coaching call. Thank you for buying a template. Thank you for investing in your services. Thank you for being part of my retainer. Thank you for doing any of the things that you do and working with me and choosing me to help you and trusting me with your business baby. I know that is not an easy decision. I know that. I know it's not an easy decision. I know it's so hard to outsource. And I do not take it lightly. And I sit here and I'm like, it's sort of an emotional experience, just because, I think that back in 2018, Lex, in 2018, I would have never, ever, ever assumed that this is what I'd be doing. And I never would have assumed that I would be able to do what I'm doing for the folks that I do it for. Not because I didn't think I was capable, but because it just seemed impossible. I'll use the word impossible. Like, how could I ever get to do the things that I do during my study breaks at PT school? And how could I ever afford to do this and afford to pay my loans, which are $1 gazillion, and also enjoy the career that I have? Because, I loved being a PT in some regard, especially pediatric PT and vestibular concussion work. I loved that. I will say that there was always a part of me, though, that knew I was not meant to function in an environment where I needed to be on all day, all the time. And like, all jokes aside, physical therapists in a high volume clinic, like, we're holding our our urine and not going to the bathroom for hours on hours on hours, and like sometimes not eating a lunch without being in our computer. Like I've been there. I know, and I knew that was something that I would shut down after work, after doing that, seeing all those people and being on for all those people and taking on a little bit more as far as like emotional responses, all of that stuff, that was hard for me. And knowing that there are likely people who listen to this and are like, yeah, like I refuse to see more than 5 patients a day. If I were to go back to treating, 1000%, I don't think I could ever see more than 4 to 5 people per day. It's just too much for me mentally. And like, I think I'm very introverted in a sense, and I'm also kind of extroverted in another sense. I always laugh because people are like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And I'm like, well, people who know me and like know me well would call me an extrovert, but people who don't really know me and aren't really close with me would call me an introvert. So I would just prefer, I think what I like to call myself is I'm just reserved. I'm reserved with folks who are new to me. And then I'm also outgoing in the sense where I can lead a class, I can lead a course, but I am not the person who is like, for lack of better terms, a social butterfly. That has just never been me. But anyway, this is my long-winded way of saying, like, I am so grateful that I am able to be in a place where I can have a career that allows me to play to my strengths and allows me to function in a way that makes my body feel good. And like another sidebar is just like when I was treating, my scoliosis, my back and I'll say my feet and my knees were in the worst shape of my life. Honestly, it was the worst amount of time and the worst period of my life. What saved me was being able to treat in Alaska in socks. So the clinic owner didn't mind if we wore socks or barefoot sneakers. So I did both of them because we had like a no shoe thing. So in the pediatric clinic I worked in, there were no shoes allowed. So that was amazing. The clinic that I worked in, the other outpatient clinic I worked in, she didn't mind what shoes we wore. And I also, my coworkers and we also sometimes we'd have bare feet. And it saved my life because wearing sneakers, Nike shoes, sneakers, wearing Sperry's, wearing all the freaking dress shoes that we pretend like we have to dress up to see somebody, like, and be in these, what the heck do you call them? The shoes where you wear no socks and then they smell so bad. Flats. Let's just call them flats. Wearing those, like, I will tell you, I was in the worst pain of my life, and I was strength training. I was doing all the things I needed to be doing, but because I was spending so much time in the first clinic that I was in, especially and as a student, in these shoes that ruined my life, my back, I could not lay on my back, at all. I would have to lay on my back with, oftentimes just with my knees bent, pillows underneath my knees. I couldn't lay with my legs I could not lay supine. I'm talking to a bunch of movement professionals. I can just use that word. I could not lay supine. I could not lay prone. If I laid on my stomach, I had to have my knees tucked into my chest. Like, I was in so much pain. And then on top of that, any sort of like long day, I'd have medial knee pain on my right side. And my feet would be so swollen and achy. The arches of my feet would be so achy by the end of the day. And like anybody who's a PT is likely going to say, Lex, like, you should probably just, strength train or do whatever you need to do. There are ways around this. And I will tell you, okay. And I will tell you that I did the things, I was doing the things. And it felt like every day when I had to spend 8 hours standing up the entire time and doing exercise in dress shoes, it was setting me back. And it was like no amount of strength training, no amount of doing all this stuff, walking in barefoot shoes after work could counteract the amount of time I was spending in these awful shoes and awful situations as far as like needing to be on my feet all day in things that hurt me because of like clinic protocol or whatever we want to call it. So again, I don't even know how we got here. Welcome. But I am just so grateful that I'm able to be barefoot in my house and exert my energy in ways that allows me to serve other people while also not burning myself out at the same time. And I know as a PT in a high volume clinic, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know. So this is again, I'm just like, it does provoke a lot of emotions for me just to say thank you. Thank you so much. If you work with me, if you listen to the podcast, if you do anything of the sort, support me in any way, thank you. And I also want to say, I posted about this a bit ago, but I will be, if I'm not the first person to tell you this, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. No one prepared me for the emotional experience and the overwhelming amount of gratitude and care and like wanting to hug somebody else when it comes to seeing your name being dropped into Facebook groups. And like if someone asks for a website designer, someone asks for SEO help, and there is someone who comments, I worked with Lex Lancaster, or I recommend Lex Lancaster, I recommend Lex, and tagging my website, tagging my Instagram, saying how great of an experience you had. It goes without saying that it is just, I cannot express my gratitude enough. And I'm just so thankful. And again, like you're getting some background. I'm making sure you know that, I appreciate you, but just know like it means so much to me. It means so much. So thank you. That was the whole purpose of this episode. And again, we're going to do updates, but I wanted there to be an explicit episode where I say thank you to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot express it enough. And I also want to shout out a couple people who wrote reviews for the podcast, or testimonials. We call it reviews, who dropped a rating, wrote a review for the podcast on their favorite podcast player. Thank you. I also appreciate that. I had explicitly asked for it last week because I hadn't done it in a bit. And I just want to say, yeah, like this, I read a couple of them and my heart just gets so warm. I just appreciate you so much. With the podcast, I'm literally looking at my computer screen and recording, and I don't even record video on this. So I'm just talking to myself at my computer screen. So just know like it means so much. Okay. So let me go through, I want to do some updates. I want to do some fun updates. I don't plan to go, not going to do a 30-minute episode here. I don't think. I'm just trying to figure out like, what do I want to do? Because, I am just, the time goes by so fast. It's already almost August, and I looked at the calendar and I just cannot believe we're almost here. It feels like we celebrated Shantae's birthday yesterday. And meanwhile, that was 7 months ago. And I am just, that is so long. I cannot believe that is the case. I genuinely can never believe it when I think about the time. So a couple updates. One thing, I'm just going to go like through all the updates. My business, I am so excited for the fall. I will be updating. I have a couple work days planned out in the next 2 months where I essentially am taking like, I don't know what I want to call it, but almost like a do it in a day for myself, if you will. I'm just planning out finishing all of the content changes for SEO School, and then I'm going to be refilming SEO School. I'm going to be launching a service as well for folks who just want an SEO plan from me. That is explicitly something you can just go buy. I know that booking a discovery call, it's just a lot. So I'm going to make it more automated where you can just go book the thing and I will get it back to you. And we don't even need to meet over Zoom or anything. It's just going to be a done for you service where you get an SEO audit, an SEO plan, and then maybe a week, I think maybe of follow-up back and forth. But I'm excited for that. Going to be planning all of that out for my business. I'm excited because I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing the last 2 years where I work less in December. And by working less, I just mean taking the last 2 weeks off. And then that follows into the new year as well, because Shantae's birthday is January 1st. And I don't think anybody really works on New Year's Day. So going to be taking that time off as well. And then getting back into it in January. Personal stuff, lots of travel, and I want to say activities planned. I do think we're going to go back to Switzerland next year. We're talking about it already. We're probably going to do like a group trip, I hope. It was just so good. It was so good. And you'll laugh. Anybody who's been on my calls that knew about Switzerland, Shantae and I were joking that we're never going to financially recover from it, because in our mind and all the Facebook groups I was in about the trip, it was like, this is going to be the most expensive trip of your life. You won't believe it. Honestly, the most expensive part was the flights, and they weren't even that bad. And like I say that bad because it's not like it's not an investment, but we were under the impression that we were going to be spending so much money once we got there, and that this was a once in a lifetime trip. And I'm kind of relieved to know that I don't have to, it's not a once in a lifetime trip. We can do it again, because the experience was so good. I think anyone can relate to the fact that like when an experience is good, there's no point in like trying to do it somewhere else, because when you go somewhere else, you're probably just going to be disappointed. So I think we're going to be going back. This fall, we are traveling to a wedding. We have another volleyball event that just got announced in October. We're traveling, we're traveling to another wedding. We're going to Cabo again with a friend's trip. And Thanksgiving, of course, we'll spend that with Shantae's family. And then I don't think we're going to be traveling to my family in December, because it's just too much. Like genuinely, it is just too much travel. And we're going that way in October. So we're going to see if we can like double up on that trip and see if it works. I don't know. Fingers crossed, because it's like, I would love for that to be the case, but if that's not the case, it's not going to be the end of the world. But again, I just would love to be able to say that we can go there, but I know it means so much to my mom, but at the same time, like it is just so difficult to make it happen this year. It's genuinely just so much. Other updates, if you have been following along on my rosacea journey, I will tell you the protocol that I followed has, I'm going to say this with my fingers crossed, worked. I'm on the last stage, and I haven't had to use my topical medication in a week now. It's been a week, and that was something I had to use every day. And it's been a week since I've used it at all. I am crossing my fingers, because I'm like, please, please, please be over. Please be done. It has been so frustrating, and it just means that my gut is on its way to healing. So that's good. But I will never eat whey protein again, ever, 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 ever. It wrecked me. I can't. It's my body does not like it. I know a lot of people kind of spoke up, and they're like, me too. I don't like it either. So I know that other people are like this as well, which makes me, feel obviously less alone, but it does stink, and it stinks for us who can't have the whey. But I will tell you right now, that protein that I have is amazing, from Jeepers Creepers. Now the name is totally, I'm going to go on my website really quick and just grab it, because, I know it's right there on my website. On my resources page, you'll see Equip Foods. They have the protein there. I love the vanilla. The chocolate is really good, but I'm going to tell you, I don't like chocolate protein. So I have a bag of chocolate that I'm going to have to like force my way through, but I don't like chocolate as a drink. I have come to the conclusion, I like chocolate milk, but I don't like this chocolate protein. It's just, it tastes good. And if you like chocolate protein, you will like it, but I don't like chocolate protein drinks. I just don't enjoy it. So going to be forcing myself to drink that one, to drink the rest of that bag, or have the rest of that bag. But other than that, it's been great. The rosacea journey, we're still on it. I feel it on my face right now a little bit, just like a dryness. And if you ever had rosacea pop up randomly, it's so frustrating, because it is gut related, and it's like stress related and hormone related. And I have some dental work that I'm supposed to go get done, and I don't want to go do it, because after my dental work last time was when it popped up. Now, it was also in like a perfect storm situation. However, I am terrified that it will come back again when I go get my dental work. And Anna Hartman posted recently about her dental work, and like how dental work affects your central nervous system, which obviously I have extreme dental anxiety. So yes, it affects my nervous system, but I'm like, I don't want to go get my dental work done, because I'm so nervous that it's going to basically send me back into a situation. And it's just terrifying to me. So I'm contemplating like what to do next and what I should do. I'm actually anticipating I will get some labs done with the facility. It's a functional medicine clinic in Denver. So I might get some labs done at the facility first before I decide to go forward with my dental work to see what they recommend, if I need to go on any supplements or what have you. But I wanted to make sure I finish this protocol first, and it's working. Like it 1000% is working. I can say with full certainty that there is a huge difference. It's just, now it kind of has to stay that way, hopefully. And I'm terrified to get dental work done. So we'll see what happens there. Other than that, really, there are no updates. I will say I'm looking at my bookshelf. I just ordered You Are the One You've Been Waiting For by Richard Schwartz. He does internal family systems work. It's like parts work. So I'm going to read that book from him. I just think it's really... Parts work really changed, and internal family systems, the IFS system, really changed my therapy experience, or I should say my coaching experience. So as a client, so I'm going to read that You Are the One You've Been Waiting For book. And then also, UC. So she gave us the book called All About Love by Bell Hooks. So I'm going to try to read that one too, in all the spare time. Sometimes I just don't want to read. It just makes me really sleepy. So yeah. So I have that one. And then other than that, really just, I'm trying to get back to more cooking as well and setting aside time for that, because I've learned that cooking is actually therapeutic for me, cooking and baking. So I need to just do more of it, because I actually really, really, really love it. And it does provide me with stress relief. So I just want to do that. Okay. One more thing, I suppose I will give you the lowdown on. I also am planning to, I've been saying I'm going to do it for the last 2 weeks and I haven't done it. I am planning to get I have my ears pierced. I don't know if anyone has their ears pierced, their lobe, right? So I have 2 holes on my lobe and I want the third one. And I will tell you right now, the last time I got my ears pierced was like maybe 15 years ago. I don't know. And I am terrified. So there's this tattoo shop. They are known for like being really good at piercing as well. So there's a man who does it there, and they're known to be really good. And I'm sure piercing your earlobe is very easy. I'm like, toddlers get it done. So I could do it. I definitely could do it. But there is this part of me that's just like, I don't want to go. I'm so terrified. And I asked Shantae to go with me, and she totally would if I was like, hey, I really do want you to go. Can you please go with me? She would say yes. But there's a part of me that's just like, I want to be independent and go by myself. But just know, if you see me on Instagram going and getting my ears pierced, know that I am there and I am terrified. I've been putting it off because I could. And also, guys, errands are my arch nemesis. I was at the Oakley store today. The footer things, the little things that protect your ears from the bars on the glasses, one of them fell off. So I had to order some new ones. Well, the long and the short here, he was like, oh, I'll order them and you can come pick them up at the store. And I was like, sir, I appreciate you. However, I don't want to come back. I was like, errands are a lot. This mall is not close to my house. So yeah, I don't want to come back here. Can I please order them to my house? And he was like, oh my God, I totally understand. Let me help you. So anyway, errands are just the bane of my existence. Not because, I don't know, the traffic here, everything that you think should take 10 minutes actually takes 20. And I'm just complaining. I need to stop complaining. But I have been trying to go get these ears pierced or get this done forever, but extreme parking anxiety. I saw today, we actually drove by where the shop lives. We drove by it and I was like, oh, perfect. I know where it is. And I was like, oh, perfect. It's in the area that I never want to park in because it's all parallel parking. So there's a parking lot. So I'm banking on the fact that if I book it early enough, if I have a reservation early enough, then I could park in the parking lot. So we'll see how that goes. But just know, if you see me on Instagram posting about getting my ears pierced, I'm terrified and I really had to amp myself up before I went. So yeah. All right, friends. that's it. I have something I need to go pick up from a store right now. Speaking of errands, and I will likely bring Moose because I love driving around with Moose and she is my favorite. So going to bring Moose with me to take a walk around and pick up an order. And then going to go enjoy the rest of Saturday night and Sunday. Love that volleyball is on Saturday now because now we have all day Sunday to relax and do things. But going to be getting ahead on some work this week on Sunday because we're going to be at or in and around a volleyball tournament on Monday because Allison Evans, Fringe and, Fringe Heels and Rock Tape, she is from both of those companies and is Shantae's mentor. And she's in town with her daughter and she has a tournament, a volleyball tournament. So I want to make sure that I get ahead on some work so that way I can go there without feeling any sort of like pressure to get back home and do some stuff. So going to be getting ahead of work on there on Monday, headed to the beach. But other than that, everything else, you got some updates. Hopefully it was a little bit entertaining. We'll see. Questions, let me know. Would love to hear. And also like the letters to Lex in my newsletter. Feel free to ask anything. It's completely anonymous. Someone actually posted something in there and then emailed me afterward and was like, oh my God, I didn't realize this was anonymous. You had no idea how to answer me because there's no place to know who actually submitted it. And I was like, yes, exactly. There's no name field. There's no email field. There's no tracking. It's completely anonymous. So feel free to submit the letters to Lex and I will add a link to letters to Lex in the show notes. All right, friends, thank you so much for listening. As always, I appreciate you. Endlessly grateful for the fact that you trust me with your business, baby, and take time out of your day to listen to me, binge my content, and share my content with others. Truly, it means so much, and I am just so, so grateful for you. Alrighty, friends, that's all I've got for you. I will catch you next time.